The good thing about being in charge is that you can put yourself first when you need to be. Thank you so much for coming. Man is that he might have joy. And if there was ever a man who knew how to have joy, it was Bob Allen. Today we're here to honor a very delightful man. Someone obviously who really liked everybody. He had a ready smile and a very warm bear hug for everyone. He loved to hug the women most, actually. I know that many of you are not aware of the circumstances surrounding Bob's passing, so I will address that at this time. Last Sunday morning, I took Bob into the hospital because he was having trouble breathing and was not feeling very comfortable. And when we went in, they discovered that he had pneumonia, or a slight case in his upper right lobe of his right lung. And they started pumping him full of antibiotics, and they of course hoped that that would help him. And I thought that, of course, that he was coming home, so I ran home to pull myself together. And within 15-20 minutes, the hospital had called, and now it is 9 o'clock. And they said the pneumonia has filled both of his lungs. We need to put, or intubate is what they call it when they put a breathing tube down your lungs. And I said, don't do that until I get there. I do want to talk to him first. And I got there, and he, of course, was having trouble breathing. He had a mask over his face. It was 100% oxygen, and yet it just wasn't working well enough for him. So we spoke briefly, and of course then they intubated him, and things just never really got better after that. They worked very hard. We had a delightful nurse who just, his name was Paul, and he just worked so hard on Bob. He did everything he could to keep him here. And I had called Craig, Bob's oldest son, who came immediately to help me make the choices that needed to be made. And Jason, the next son down, or whatever order, he came shortly thereafter. We discussed Bob's wishes. We had a friend who a week earlier had passed away from very, very similar circumstances. And so with that being on our minds, we had had the opportunity to discuss what Bob wanted to have done. So it was very clear in all of our minds. And by 1 o'clock, his left lung was filling. They discussed the opportunity or the option of putting him in a type of bed whose name I can't remember, but it's kind of like turns the body like a rotisserie chicken. So, you know, to keep his lungs moving. And because, again, this friend who had passed away the week before had been in that bed, he had said at that time, absolutely not put me in one of those things. And so we told the doctor that was not something we could do, that they could do whatever they needed to, but that was not one of the options. And so they tried. If you filled Bob up with liquid to help his blood pressure go up, it would fill his lungs. If you didn't put the liquid in him, his blood pressure would go down, and he wasn't doing well at all anyway. So as the afternoon wore off, the children were able to gather, and by 4 o'clock, Bob went home. I know he was very happy to see his mother, who he had not seen since he was 19. And I know that he was just delighted to see my parents. My father was his best friend and his surrogate father while he was here, and they had a great relationship. It was an awful day, but by the same token, Bob had always said, I want to go quickly, I don't want to hang around. And despite the fact that he did not consult me, the planner of all events in our lives, he did exactly as he wanted. I I would like to keep my remarks very brief because I do want to be able to give our speakers just a few more minutes in. And of course, we would like you to have the opportunity to stand and say something. We've got a chair up front here if you just want to come and sit down and just come up here. And we're looking for some wonderful, fond, fun, quirky, weird memories of Bob. If you don't feel comfortable coming up here, we would invite you to go over to the table here on the right. There's plenty of papers. You can sign your name, write a memory, whatever you are most comfortable with. Also, we do have lots of pictures of Bob here. We invite you to look at those. At this time, I would like all of Bob's children, that is yours, the mine, and the ours, to please stand along with grandchildren. Sorry, when I'm in charge, you kind of have to do things, all right? Okay, combined, Bob's and my family, we're 11 children. We have had 37 grandchildren now, with 38 on the way, and we have 5 great-grandchildren. These are the treasures that Bob has left me. This is my golden pod at the end of the rainbow. And these are the people that he loved and I loved. And I'm most grateful to him for that opportunity. Now, thank you. You can all sit down now. Thank you. Just last week, Bob and I were at a seminar together, and they discussed something I'd never heard of before. It was called an ethical will. And this is what I know Bob would like to leave with you. Bob had many fine qualities, and those qualities are what he leaves here. And an ethical will is the values that you have learned during your life and that you wish to pass on when you leave this earth. So whatever great qualities that Bob had, I would encourage not only his children and our family, but also all of you who are our extended family, to take with you and to carry on and to spread your love in your community and in your family. So thank you everyone for coming. You'll hear about this often. And I do want to just end with this. Is for those of you who read the comics, this is the Pickles comic. And Bob truly felt that this cartoon artist, Brian Crane, lived in our living room, because there are so many cartoons in here that truly describe our situation. This book is entitled, How Come I Always Get Blamed for the Things I Do? And that was truly what happened at our house. And Bob wanted to write on the cover, Bob and Kathryn, but since I don't have white hair, I declined that honor. So we invite you to look through those things. We want you to enjoy Bob's pictures and the history of his life. We have a wonderful video up here that will be playing towards, I guess, whenever the videographer does that. So thank you. Oh, I should probably explain, Bob did get cremated. If you'd like to say a few words to him, he's over here on the table in the silver urn, as the usher is showing you. And that was also according to his wishes. And if you'll please indulge me, I'm going to take a picture of all of you. Thank you for coming. Okay. All right. This might be rather irreverent, but Bob would really like it. Okay. Here we go. We're going to have to do a lot of zooming when this is over. Okay, Craig. All right, guys. Thank you. Everybody smile. Yeah, everybody smile. All right, and we will follow the program as it's outlined.